Disturbing new details continue to surface in the Nick Reiner homicide investigation, and according to TMZ, the picture surrounding this case is becoming increasingly unsettling as investigators work to reconstruct the final hours before the deadly incident. What initially appeared to be a straightforward arrest has now evolved into a deeply complex case filled with unanswered questions, chilling behavior, and evidence that law enforcement says cannot be ignored. Sources close to the investigation tell TMZ that authorities are now zeroing in on a growing body of evidence, including surveillance footage, phone data, and witness accounts that may shed light on Nick Reiner's movements and mental state leading up to the killings. Investigators are reportedly disturbed not only by what the evidence shows, but by what it suggests about intent, preparation, and awareness. One of the most talked about developments involves surveillance video obtained from a business location shortly before Nick was taken into custody. According to sources, the footage allegedly shows him going about routine activities with no visible signs of panic or distress. Investigators reportedly find this behavior alarming, given the seriousness of the alleged crime and the timeframe in which it occurred. While law enforcement has not publicly interpreted the footage, sources say it is now a key piece of the puzzle. TMZ reports that detectives are also analyzing Nick's phone records and digital footprint. This includes text messages, call logs, and online activity from the days and hours leading up to the incident. Investigators are attempting to determine whether there were warning signs, escalating arguments, or communications that could point to motive or premeditation. At this time, officials have not confirmed whether any messages directly reference violence, but they say digital evidence is playing an increasingly important role. Another disturbing angle investigators are examining involves the nature of the crime scene itself. Sources familiar with the investigation say the evidence does not point to a random act or outside intruder. Instead, the scene reportedly suggests a personal and violent confrontation. Law enforcement has remained tight-lipped about specific forensic details, but it is believed that the manner of death and the condition of the scene indicate an intense and deliberate act. Autopsy results are still being reviewed, and authorities have emphasized that final conclusions will depend on forensic confirmation. However, preliminary findings have reportedly reinforced investigators' belief that the incident involved direct physical violence rather than an accidental or spontaneous event. Officials stress that these findings are still part of an ongoing investigation and subject to change as more evidence is analyzed. TMZ also reports that investigators are taking a closer look at Nick Reiner's personal history and recent behavior. This includes interviews with people who knew him, family dynamics, and any known personal struggles. Sources say detectives are attempting to understand whether emotional stress, mental health issues, or unresolved conflicts may have contributed to what ultimately unfolded. No official motive has been announced, and authorities caution against speculation while the case remains active. Public reaction to the case has been intense. Social media has been flooded with shock, disbelief, and questions about how such a tragedy could occur. Many are struggling to reconcile the allegations with the family's public image, while others are calling for patience and restraint as facts continue to emerge. Legal experts have also weighed in, noting that early evidence like surveillance footage can heavily influence public opinion, even before it is fully examined in court. Law enforcement sources say they are being especially cautious due to the high-profile nature of the case. Every piece of evidence is reportedly undergoing careful review to ensure accuracy and avoid misinterpretation. Prosecutors are said to be building their case methodically, aware that any misstep could impact future court proceedings. As the investigation progresses, attention is also turning to what comes next legally. Nick Reiner remains in custody as the judicial process moves forward. Prosecutors are expected to outline formal charges and potential legal strategies once the investigation reaches a more complete stage. Court dates and hearings will likely provide the public with clearer insight into the evidence authorities believe supports their case. Despite the growing number of disturbing details, officials continue to emphasize that the investigation is ongoing and that all suspects are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Law enforcement has urged the public not to jump to conclusions based on leaked information or incomplete reports. TMZ sources indicate that additional evidence may be released in the coming days or weeks, including more surveillance footage, court documents, or testimony summaries. Each new detail has the potential to significantly change how the case is understood, making this an investigation that continues to evolve in real time. For now, the Nick Reiner homicide investigation remains one of the most unsettling and closely watched cases, with authorities working to uncover the full truth behind what happened and why. As more verified information becomes available, the public can expect further updates that may finally answer the many questions surrounding this tragic and disturbing case.